It's been, over 2 years now, guys, and all we heard was they're clearing cap room. They got enough money to sign 2 or 3 guys, and all eyes were pointed at LeBron, and all they really end up with is Felton and Stoudemire. They end up having to deal David Lee. Let me ask you, did the Knicks fail miserably this offseason, or are they on the right path?
Well, if you're looking at what their plan was, yes, they failed. They wanted LeBron. They thought they had him. It didn't turn out to be that way. They did fail in that sense. But if you're looking, some of the moves that they made were pretty good. The David Lee move was smart. There was no way that he and Amari were going to be able to coexist well and be able to be successful on the court at the same time or even be a good team that way. And so they picked up some pieces from Golden State. They got themselves Ronny Turiaf, a good bench player. They got a young talent, Anthony Randolph. I have the Knicks. I think the Knicks are going to be a surprise this year. I have them as a low-seed playoff team that's going to make a little bit of noise.
That's why I keep you on this show, Jess. Positive Knicks talk. Yes, I don't get to hear a lot of it, but yes, I'm hoping you're right. But, how do you think New York failed in the offseason? I only bring up the Knicks is because they were the team you've heard a ton about, for the last 2 years. Not getting LeBron, seeing some of the other guys end up different places. I mean, the whole deal was to get LeBron and Bosh, and they ended up different places. Do you see this Knicks team on the right path, Vince, or you think it was a big bust?
No, you know what, Matt? And I'm not just following suit here. I really think that Amari Stoudemire was a good land, and I'm sticking to what I'm saying. I really personally like Raymond Felton, and I've always liked him, and even in Charlotte. But like I said before, he was in a restricted offense then. That man has talent. And this year he's going to be able. Yes, exactly. And that's the thing. Right now he's going to be able to spread his wings, and I think that plays well for the Knicks. And I think, and I don't mean to regress, but I think if they land Carmelo, that's the best thing. I think it's all good stuff for them. So, yeah, they're on the right path. I think the Knicks are on the right path, and I'm with Jess. I'm with you. I see them as a low seed coming out of the East, getting into the playoffs this year.
Guys, are there any other off-season moves? We mentioned Steve Blake, which I had on my little list to bring that up today. Are there any other off-season moves that you think will pay an immediate dividend or have a big impact this year? Just around the league, anything that caught your eye big time this year? A lot of people brought Shaq going to Boston up, and we haven't talked about the Celtics yet. After we do the season moves, we'll go into our predictions, and we'll talk about the Celtics there. But is there any other signings or deals this year that you think will make an immediate impact around the league? And Jess, you can start with that if you have anything on your mind.
I think the Utah's move to get Al Jefferson was granted because it was from Minnesota. It was kind of a quiet move. Will pay huge dividends because it allows them to bring Paul Millsap in to play bigger minutes, and now they have a big time. He's got to stay healthy, and I'm going to assume that he does. It gives them a true low post center to counter with. That front line is great. Between Jefferson at the 5, you've got Millsap at the 4, a very good player, hustle player, very skilled. And then you put Andre Kirilenko at the 3, where he creates matchup problems like crazy with Darren Williams in the backcourt. I think that move was very, very good for them to recover, especially since they lost Boozer, who was a very good player, but everything that Boozer could do, you have a little bit with Millsap, and then you're increased by the fact you have a bigger low post presence and defensive presence with Jefferson.
What about you, Vince? Any moves around the league that caught your eye this year?
I'd say Jess knows his basketball very well. I think I think Utah is going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. But to kind of, I guess, go off, travel the narrow road here a little bit, I don't think there'll be a playoff team, but one team I keep my eye on is also in the Northwest Division is Minnesota. 12 new guys on their roster. And, you know, a lot of people want to be quick to throw them in last place or say that the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to be a bad team. But to be honest, with a completely different offense, including Michael Beasley and Kevin Love is going to have a breakout year, and getting Luke Ridnour, who is looking very good this preseason. And the preseason is a whole nother, I wrote a piece on that about the preseason where basically the preseason is underrated. You know, a lot of people fall into the cliche that it's only preseason, it doesn't mean anything. Well, you know, that's true, but if I crunched all the statistics, and the truth is preseason teams who win 6 or more games actually increase their win total by the previous season by 19 wins. That would put Minnesota at about 34 wins this year, which doesn't get them into the playoffs, but that's a significant increase. So I think Minnesota Timberwolves are on a good path, maybe not for this year, but for the future to come.
Real quick answer, the last question I had written down before we get into the previews. Who's the best player in the NBA, Vince?
Kobe.
Kobe, what about you, Jess?
If I'm gonna take I think Kevin Durant takes that next step. I think Kevin Durant is gonna be. I think he will be this year's MVP. Kobe will be there. I think he steps back a half step as he's a little bit older, and Durant still got upside. That is a young man with fire who's going about it the right way.
You know what?
If you have ever listened to this, go ahead, Vince.
You know, honestly, you might don't kill me for this, but I think that Durant is MVP this year too. But still, I think Kobe is the best player this year. I don't think he has to win that award to be the best player. I think Kevin Durant is MVP, but I think Kobe Bryant is the best player still this year.
If you ever listen to this show, Jess and I somehow end up agreeing on everything, and we never talk about it beforehand. And I was going out and saying Durant was the best player in the league. Already had him written out for MVP, so yeah, we did it again, huh? Okay, guys. Hey, by the way, if you want to, before we get into our prediction phase here, we're going to kind of run through this real quick. If you want to check out Sports Haze, make sure you head over to the website, check it out. You can find all of our writings on there. I just wrote an article about Cliff Lee, the greatest postseason pitcher of all time. Very good read. A lot of other talented writers on there, too. John Hertzbarger comes on the show. He's our college football guy. Check out some of his stuff. There's anything you want to read, you can find on Sports Haze, so make sure you check it out. Guys, look at the Atlantic Division here. Boston, Toronto, New York, New Jersey, Philly. This is still Boston's division to win, right?
No doubt.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah.
Is this the last stand for the Celtics, or do you see a couple more years left in them?
This is probably their last year of definite title contention, I think this is their last solid year at it. They'll be contenders next year, but I don't think they will be one of the favorites after this year.
Is there a surprise team in the Atlantic Division you like? We talked about the Knicks. I just don't see the Sixers, even though I think Evan Turner is going to be really good. I don't see the Sixers, Nets, or Toronto doing much this year. So the Knicks actually could fare pretty low in this division. Are they the surprise team in the Atlantic?
I would have to say so.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
I think the Knicks. the Nets. I think either of those two, depending on all of these transactions,